Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back for another episode of The Giveaway Show. That's kind of cool. I don't know. I like this. So StreamYard's got some pretty cool new sound effects, a bunch of stuff here in the chat, or here in the that I can use for the studio, like applause and stuff. So I'm playing around with that. Played around with that a couple weeks ago. But hey, I am excited that y'all are here hanging out. This is another episode of Wednesday Night Livestream. Man, we are rounding the home stretch. Just a couple more weeks, like I think one more week. Next week is the season finale for the giveaway show, season 8. I can't believe it's already been 8 seasons, 185 episodes that we've done this show. Wow, it's wild. So it is very cool. Excited to see all of you here hanging out. Make sure to hit that like button if you haven't already. Tonight we're talking about the potential Netflix purchase of Warner Brothers Discovery. But wait, that's not all, because Paramount has decided they are not folding. All that and more as we get started tonight. Remember, I'm going to be joined by some of the crew. They're going to be hanging out with me tonight, showing up shortly. But before we do that, I want to let you know some of the cool stuff that's coming down in the month of January. Before we, as we get launched in January, we've got one more week of live streams, which is the giveaway show we've got this week and next week, and then the show wraps for the holiday break. We'll take 3 weeks off, and then we're back in January with more episodes, and season 9, including a brand new cast member that has never appeared on the show in all 185 episodes. Lots of cool stuff. We're also going to be wrapping up the Expensive Paper Showcase coming up. 2 more episodes of it. I was so exhausted last weekend that we didn't go live with it, but 2 more weeks of it. Going to go ahead and do it for 2 more weeks and get some cool books. So this Friday and next Friday, and then that show also goes. Because remember, all the regular live streams go on hiatus between seasons. We'll be off for 3 weeks, and then we'll be back. But never fear, there's going to be some really cool content coming right after the first of the year. We're going to kick it off big with brand new video, long promised, the top 10 X-Men comics, Volume 1. These are my picks for the top 10 X-Men comics that you should be looking to add to your collection. Maybe you're brand new at collecting. Maybe you're looking at X-Men. Maybe you're into speculating and you want to see what books I've picked out, because here's the thing. These books always have a cool chance at seeing some heat after these lists go live. So you're going to want to be one of the first ones to watch it. Remember, that's going to be dropping after the first of the year. It's the first of the new top 10 videos. I've got a bunch of them. I've got a stack of scripts here. I'm recording them and working on editing. So I've got a lot of cool stuff, including the top 10 Predator comics that you should add to your collection, top 10 Supergirl comics that you should be adding to your collection, and special shout out to Jorge, one of my students, who was interested in Invincible comics, and he wanted to know, Mister, what Invincible comics would you be picking up? I said, hey, I'm going to do a video just for that, because it's an excellent idea. All those and more videos coming after the first year. Also, remember, if you haven't joined the channel yet, now is a great time to consider doing that. Man Without Fear is our least expensive at $1.99 a month. You can be a channel member, and you can actually support the channel. We've also got the Man of Steel tier at $4.99 a month, and then our most popular, the Dark Knight tier at $14.99 a month, where every quarter you get a cool care package. It's got books just picked out just for you based on a questionnaire that you submit. That's right. When you sign up, you'll get a link, and there's a questionnaire, and it asks you for your favorite comic characters, T-shirt size, favorite, things I need to know about you as a collector, what other kind of things you collect, all those different things. And we take it, and I put together different care packages for you. I've got several of those that I've got to ship out, including a couple that I'm doubling up. Cool stuff, cool way to build your collection. So lots of fun ways to connect with the channel interface. It is New Comic Book Wednesday, of course, and so we'll be taking a look at some of the pickups from this week and some of the books that have gone live. or that are out there and that are already becoming fast and hard to find copies of. Because hey, there's a couple of them, and one of them was just this random on a mark. I just picked it out. Paul and I were going over the new books and the FOC, and I said, "Man, that is such a wild concept." You know what? I'm going to tell you about that and more coming up here in just a moment. So make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to go ahead and let's see. I'm going to go through the chat right now, and we're going to do some shout outs to folks that are in the chat, starting with Las Cruces. He was here a little over an hour ago to drop in and say hello from New Mexico. It's good to have you back, Las Cruces. Still thinking about you, as you adjust to a new life, having said an earthly goodbye to a family member. Still thinking about you. But glad that you're here hanging out with us. There's Evan Dudley dropping in to say, good evening, everyone. Happy Comic Book Wednesday and happy Dewey Decimal System Day. Wow, the young ones don't know what the Dewey Decimal System is, but that's okay. I love that she's got a calendar that has all this stuff listed in it because she's always going to let us know anytime there's a live stream what kind of day it is. So that's awesome that Devin Dudley's here hanging out with us. She also says, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. This is the best channel on YouTube. Hey, I think so, but I might be biased. And she says, consider becoming a member. She's also one of our channel members, so it's cool to see her hanging out here. Andrew Kai, our brother from down under. Andrew, I got what you sent, and your book is going to into capable pressing hands of Drew over in Press Nation Worldwide. He'll be hanging out with it, or he'll be taking care of that book and that submission for you. I'm gonna have to have him on sometime soon to talk about the everything he's learned about the art of pressing and cleaning comic books. Wolverado says, good evening, folks. Loves good when he gives some shout outs. And then, hey, there's El Green Machine. Wolverado is one of our channel members. Give a shout out to him for continuing to support and be a cool part of the channel. El Green Machine dropping in says, hello, everybody. Good to see you. David Spider-Man Dodson. Hey, I just, I think a package of yours just went out, or it's on the stack to go out. I don't know. There's so many packages that I've been shipping out. Like a madman, trying to get them all out the door before we wrap this season. And we're doing pretty good because a ton of them have gone out, and there's a few more to send out, but I'm excited because they're all out the door. All right. Let's see, lots of others here dropping in. Joffrey Castro, what's it? Joffrey Castro, it's another one. He had a huge package that went out. Cool stuff. Hit that like button. Good to see you guys all hanging out here. If possible, Carlos, I'd like to sell the last 2 Fridays. Yes, by all means, yes. Let's do it. Dark Knight is the best. Carlos, that's a nice Zorro comic. Yeah, I'm going to show it off in just a second. All right, hey, buddy, yeah, thinking of you. Okay, continue to be good. Dewey Decimal was the old way to catalog books before CLZ. Like that plug? I do like that. Hey, I'm going to tell you about how you could win your own 1 year, like for free, 1 year subscription to the CLZ comic app. That's my comic collecting organization app of choice. And guess what? Right now, you can go here on the channel. If you go to this week's featured playlist, top 10 Christmas gifts for comic fans. If you watch that video and then you enter in the comments, it's not a randomized drawing. I am choosing the best answer to the question, why do you need to be the one to get a free 1 year subscription to CLZ? And big shout out to CLZ Comics and our buddy there, Taco, for being the one to send that over. Very excited they did that. Huge help and huge thanks for them doing that. So that was really generous of them. But hey, they wanted to support the list and they wanted to be a friend of the channel. So I said, hey, send it over by all means. Also, in addition, in that video, I'm going to drop the video and the link here. The video Also, there's a discount code for Comics on Coffee. If you're a coffee drinker and you like comics themed coffee, they've got it. I'm going to be making an order from them this upcoming week. Then also there's a discount code from our friends Tim and Jess over at Nerdstalgia, the classic collector, $50 off your order. All right, and then also talking to our buddy Malverde Design over at Malverde Designs. He's the one that does all these 3D stand or all these stand like cool, fun, fancy comic stands that I use. He, I think, is also going to hook us up with a discount code or something. He's pretty busy right now. So you want to go watch that video. The discount codes, at least I think one or two of them, are going to expire at the end of December. So you're going to want to use those. And it also that will help the channel, not because we're getting any money from it, but because it lets those companies know, hey, you know, the folks over at Crosscuts Comics, the fans over there and the audience over there, they like to jump on these great deals that have been provided to them. So all that stuff, all that cool stuff going on here at the channel. Whew, man, but we're getting going. First up, I see him lurking backstage. I'm excited to get his take on tonight's subject. I see him there. I'm going to go ahead and bring him out and let him say hello to everybody. Here he is, folks. The future Batman, Jen.
Hey, what's up, guys? I was taking a nap. I just actually just woke up, so I'll be like, anyways, no, I'm just playing. Anyways, but not really. Anyways, welcome to the Giveaway Show. We got a really good show here for you today. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff that's been going on in the comic book world / the media world and so forth. So tune in.
Yes. All right, man. Hey, I'm excited that you're here to hang out with me tonight. Whoops. Let me go ahead and switch that out. Why is that back? Wait, you know what? Oh, no, there's no Christmas ones. There's no, they gave me a bunch of Halloween ones, but there's no Christmas ones. Here, we need a Christmas one because that would be pretty cool. All right, let's just bring this up. No. All right, there we go. All right, so man, hey, I know this is a subject that you've been very interested in. We've discussed it, we've talked about it, but I think it's good to put it out there. But hey, you know what? Before we do that, Jim, what is, in your opinion, what is the hottest comic book that is out this week? Have you been keeping track of this?
The hottest comic book that's out this week. Okay, let's look at this. Usually, this would be like something that Paul would do.
I've read it too. I just want to see if your opinion and my opinion match up.
Yeah, but it's something that usually Paul does. But
yeah.
I'll take over for Paul and pretend to do what he usually does when he just shows off like books. He'll be like, "Oh yeah, this
book.
I got this."
Oh my gosh!
So, the hottest book this week, or the one that came out this week. Now I have cover A. I just wasn't able to go pick it up from Atomic Monkey. That's actually the shop that I usually go and pick up my comic books from. I don't really go to Bedrock, but I ended up going into Bedrock for, I don't know, the first time in I don't know how long.
Yeah.
And I actually I was like, okay, you know what? I needed to get this cover, and they had it. Like the guy was like, oh yeah, we have that cover. No, it's the last one that we have, and it's really big. So this is Absolute Batman 15. Came out on, I think, on Tuesday, but some shops they'll release it like all in one. Like they'll release it like on Wednesday. They won't do like the whole Tuesday thing. This shop that I went to, they actually release it whenever DC releases comics. So he had one copy left, and I really wanted it, so I picked up this cover. This is the this is one of the variant covers, It's this one would be the Ben Oliver cover. So if you zoom in on right there, they'll say Ben Oliver. This is the one that I wanted.
I
That's the
love DC does that, by the way.
yeah,
I
me
love-
too. I mean, if some, because you could easily think that this is like Art Germ, right? Because Art Germ does
Right.
surreal, surreal looking stuff like this. But I was really happy to go and pick this up because this is supposed to be the absolute Joker arc. That's where the arc starts for the Joker, and it's so a lot of people haven't really discussed, or I haven't really seen any channels talk about this. But does anyone know what year Absolute Batman's actually taking place? Because we're in 2025 right now,
Ooh.
but in the comic book world of Absolute Batman, it's actually taking place in the near future. It's like 2028 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, this like the character himself is in 2028 or something like that, and then their continuity of the absolute universe, which is like DC's answer to the Ultimate Universe for Marvel, right? But at the same time, if you look at the stuff that Scott Snyder is doing with this book, Scott Snyder is actually doing what they wish they did with the New 52.
Yes.
Like this is the New 52 Batman. This is really what they should have done with the New 52 Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, all the stuff that you're seeing today, right? With this book is what they should have done instead of saying, "Oh, you know what? We're gonna reboot the entire universe and we're gonna write terrible stories," right? Because that's what ended up happening. The Batman one wasn't so bad. It was just I think people had an issue with outside of the Court of Owls. I think people had an issue with. I say people. Fans had an issue with Batman being too young, and a lot of like the retconning, like this didn't happen, this happened, and so forth. So it made people, it made the fans go a little. I guess it made them a little disgruntled. That was the same thing with Superman. Superman was a jerk. He'd throw people out the window. Very un-Superman-like. Well, this right here is what the New 52 should have been. But this is the hottest book out right now. I don't have cover A, but this is the cover I wanted anyways. The other shop that I go to, they have my cover A, so I'll eventually go and pick that one up. Unless Carlos has one that he'll show off, or if he picked his.
Well, hey, let me go ahead and show. Let me go.
Show cover A.
No, just real quick. Hey, so here's the deal. I didn't make it by my LCS to pick up cover A, but here's the deal. Guess what tonight's giveaway is? That's right. It's cover A of Absolute Batman number 15, the first appearance of the Absolute Joker. We're going to be giving it away. I don't have it here physically with me, but it is safe and sound. It's yours, and that's the giveaway for tonight. A copy of Absolute Batman number 15, cover A.
And that's
drop the hashtag for that in just a moment.
Yeah, that's a really what is it called? It's a really hot book right now, man. So that's the hot book right now. And I mean, this came out like about 2 weeks ago. I picked this one up too. I'll just show you what I have. I was trying to go back and I was trying to collaborate all my Absolute Batmans that I have. So I have all of them. I have 1 through 15. I've been collecting it. This, the Batman Volume 4 that they redid with the new suit. I picked that one up, the black and blue suit, and then I'm picking up Spawn. I think those are the only 3 books that I'm really picking up. I am reading KO. KO is doing pretty all right, but there isn't really any Marvel that I'm picking up. I mean, if I do pick up Marvel, it's usually trade. The Devil Hulk stuff was doing really good in my book. Um, the Ultimate Spider-Man stuff was doing really good. It was doing well, and then somewhere along the lines, when they start changing the artwork and like the writers, I just that's it for me, man. On this case, I think this is probably the best comic right now. This is the first Absolute Catwoman. So I picked this one up right here. This is the cover that I picked up. It's a foil. So I just like the way this looks, and this is actually for A Wolf, man. This is practically going to be her book because it's one of the foil covers that came out, and she told me, she was like, oh yeah, I really like the way her helmet looks. I was like, she looks kind of like an anime character. I'm like, you know what, you might be onto something. The other thing is we had 14, which was the book before. So the wife is the one that actually thought this cover looked good. I had a hard decision to pick between this cover and cover A. I chose this one over A. I know a lot of people go after the cover A, but this is the first Absolute Harley. So yeah, so this would be the first Harley, and this is a conclusion to the Bane story. For anyone that's not like actually paying attention to the book or whatnot, then you also have Absolute Batman Annual #1. So this is considered a controversial book at the moment. The reason this is controversial is because he fights white supremacists, which is what this cover is. They're all in the background. So, and this is also the first appearance and the origin of the Absolute Batmobile, I guess.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, so I thought that was, I thought that was kind of, like I said, they're doing what they should have done with the New 52. That's really what this is that it's their answer to the Ultimate Universe, and then of course the New 52. I believe this is supposed to be like Killer Croc, so that's kind of cool how they did that. I like the tail, how long that is, and I like the artwork on this cover just because it has kind of like a Vincent Van Gogh, kind of like a nostalgic background. Like, it has kind of like a surreal, like it looks like something else while it's really not. Like, you look at it, you from far away, you could be like, oh yeah, it looks like mountains, right? But when you come close, you're like, oh, it's his tail. I think that's kind of cool. And man, I'm a big art guy, man. So if whenever they release different variants, I'm gonna go with whatever I like, which is what I always tell everybody, is that I know a lot of people want to go after cover A now because it's the most valuable. I have a few #1s. This is the one that I picked up much later. I have cover A somewhere. I can't find it. I'm sorry, guys. I was trying to put this together for this episode, but there's cover A that I have somewhere in one of my comic book boxes because we just moved into a house, and I'm trying to figure out where I put it. But I found this one because I was supposed to get this one signed with Carlos at the Fan Expo Dallas. I was gonna get this book signed, but then I think someone had canceled. Can't remember who canceled, and then we were also on a budget. It was like it became a really expensive con, and I think I put this book in the back. I was like, oh yeah, I'm not even gonna get it signed. But this is the noir edition, okay? So this is a complete black and white edition for this. So it's a foil black and white. And a lot of people will say, well, if you can't get cover A first print, you should probably go after this one because it's only $20. So it's the same book. It's $20. It's noir. It'll be that black and white or whatever. But it's $20. You're not paying like $100 to go get a #1. Plus, it's just a hype right now, right? I mean, that's the only thing about this book is that it's super hyped. And the other one that I have is Absolute like I said, I have the same one that JT got. I bought one off of JT. He gave me a second print of the Akira cover. I got the original Akira, then I got the Akira second print, and then I got the Akira fourth print. I don't know if there was a third print. I don't remember picking that up, but I got the fourth print which has a gold writing. And I contact Comic Corner, and they just told me that the artist that was supposed to sign all those books in bulk, I guess they had a delay in their signing. So my book should get signed sometime this December, and then they'll be shipping it off to me from CGC. So that was kind of cool because like I said, I went after that cover, and then of course this is your Batman Day cover, and this is the same person that did the Akira cover is the one that did this. So that would be Nick Dragata. I think that's his name. I think he even says it right there. See where he usually has his name somewhere down at the bottom. And this is like Nick Dragata cover. He has that anime style art or whatnot. He's doing most of the interior work, by the way. Like you'll even see his name, like Dragata down there. But yeah, he has that. But my other ones are here. This would be what is it called? Issue number 3, cover A, and then you have your issues number 4. And I have the entire run, man. I need to do a better job with, when I'm moving my books, keeping them in one area, because the wife took some of my short boxes and she put them somewhere. And I was like trying to put it together for this episode, and then I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna try, man. I'm done. But that is the haul for tonight. Yeah, Wolverado's frittata. No, it's what's his name? I said, what did I tell you? I know I didn't say frittata. I think I said Dragata. Yeah, Dragata. But hey, frittatas is cool too, man. I'm feeling some frittatas.
That's what we're talking.
Tis the season for some frittatas, buddy.
Frittatas.
But that is my haul for the week. And well, there is one other book that I do want to show off, but this is more of a PC thing. I think Carlos and the rest of the chat might get you guys might get a little fun out of this. But I just recently added this to my PC. This is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles color special number 1. It's the first time that they've ever been in color. So this is a first print of that, but this is the Error edition. This is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They re-released this in 2009, but there was very few copies out there that were like hack and slash or whatever. They had like a pattern. It was like a patch pattern. Like I think I'll let you look at what it says. They basically had a pattern up there inside the comic book, and so this is even more rare than like some of the other like reprints that came out later. But since this is the first like colored version, it's also signed by Kevin Eastman and Steve Levin, right? I think that's his name. He is a colorist, so they were like high school or college buddies or something like that for like the longest. But had the colorist sign it here, and then had Kevin Eastman sketch mark and sign it, and he sketch mark and signed it right there. The only person I'm missing right on this cover, which would be right here, probably go right here, is Peter Laird. He'd probably go right here, which is the other co-creator. But this, I looked it up, and it's actually one of like the very scarce books, very, very scarce books. So I have this one, but I also have a second copy. So I have this one too. I have 2 of them. I added these to my PC over the weekend. So we'll see. Like I said, this is my haul. This is what I was going to show off for tonight. I thought Paul might have been on tonight, or JT, for this episode. But everyone, we get busy with our lives and so forth. Especially with the news that we're going to talk about a little bit later today. With yeah, that's going to be some fun stuff. Wear my little red hat for that news. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to talking through it because there continue to be different developments that have taken place. And
I mean, it's going back and forth, but I keep reading.
We're gonna get to it. Yeah. Hey, make sure, folks, if you're watching right now, so we're gonna get to the Netflix and Warner Brothers thing because that was gonna be the original thing. But I do want to touch base, or I want to kind of reel it back because something you said stuck out to me. I wanted to kind of dig into it just a little bit more. You mentioned that the absolute universe is what DC's New 52 should have been, and I think that perfectly sums up why, especially Batman, why the absolute Batman and the absolute universe is so successful right now. Because absolute Batman is getting all the attention, but absolute Wonder Woman is also a strong book. And
you're right.
It's like it's like when the one big splashy one is getting all the attention, but the others have consistent strong players. And I don't think the big three. Superman, I think, is probably the weakest, but I've also heard that absolute Green Lantern and absolute Flash are doing well.
Well, and you also have absolute Catwoman that's coming out now because of her popularity. I mean, guys, if you didn't pick up issue 13, it's one of the comics where you're actually able to you can still find issue 13s. Laying around. 13s are not hard to find, but that will be a character. Like if you didn't pick it up yet, and say that you go to your local comic book shop and you're like, I'll pick up, Absolute Batman 13. That's her first appearance, the first appearance of Absolute Catwoman. But she's getting a really good trend in the comic community. So she's a badass. So I mean, if you end up picking that one up, that wouldn't be a bad choice either, because if everyone's going after issue 1, but you could always go after the trade. Just remember, there's over 100,000 copies plus variants that were printed for Absolute Batman. There's no reason for you to go and spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars for an issue number 1. It's not a Silver Age book. Just remember, it will drop, the hype will drop, the FOMO will drop, and then you will wish you didn't spend $100 on this book. Like I said, it's good for business. It's great that it's trending like that, and it's great that Scott Snyder was able to just do whatever he wanted with this book. It's almost like DC said, like, how we gave you like rules and regulations for New 52 because we didn't want you ruining the continuity of that mainstream universe? Well, how about if we gave you your own universe to just do whatever? And Scott Snyder is like, can I bring Brian back? Can I bring this guy? How about this artist? I really like his work, which was the Furtada guy. That I didn't say Furtada. I know I said Dragato. But anyways, Wolverado. He always cracks me up. But the thing is, it's almost like Scott Snyder is just picking. He's picking people to create a very unique universe, so they can challenge the Marvel Ultimate Universe. That's what I feel like they're doing. Is like it's good for business. Really, you need that.
Well, where it came from, though, right? Because it was a spinoff of the Absolute Power kind of storyline with Darkseid, and the thing that just blows my mind is about how much these books have spiked in value in just such a short time. Is that Absolute Batman was only supposed to be a 5-issue miniseries.
Correct. Even says it on there.
Yeah, and the fact that it blew up so big, it makes me think of like, remember the infamous Transformers _1 in a 4-issue limited series, and it went on for like 80 something issues, and it's so much fun to see fandom react so positively to a comic book title, especially in 2025. In 1987 it was one thing, but in 2025 to see it blow up the way it has, to the point where it was interesting. We showed off some of those variants for Absolute Batman #1. Yeah, yep. This is
part one. Part 1, right? Like right down here, it says part 1 of 5.
Of 5, yeah. But it's so neat that it's gotten so kind of just wild with the values that people are taking the variant covers, which now it's like a cardstock cover stapled over a first print cover A, and they're cutting off the cardstock cover.
Oh yeah, I was just about to tell you that too.
Yeah.
How crazy it is.
Wild. It's crazy that's happening, but I think it's a good sign of life in the comic community. And I know there's flippers and deep dealers and folks who are buying stacks and stacks of them, right? Mr. Collector. But I think it's an excellent sign of life for the comic collecting hobby and for the comic reading community that this book is so popular and it's such a big deal. And that's why it's kind of our opening story for tonight, is to look at it. And I think you brought it up that I think the reason why people are responding so strongly and so positively to it, and in the way you connect the dots back to the original Ultimate Universe, is that comic fans are looking for their favorite characters in something fresh and new. And to see a new version of Batman, like a truly new version, like you pointed out, New 52 should have been this bold and exciting and fresh a take on Batman. But, it wasn't. It wasn't. There was some good stories. The Court of Owls is fantastic. I enjoyed reading that.
Well, that wasn't even the problem with Batman. The problem with Batman, I think that they had was that they took like 10 or 12 years like off his like continuity, like his life, like the last like the R.I.P. Batman, for example, the return, the road from R.I.P., right? Like they kept Damian Wayne, right? Like which very confusing, because like Damian Wayne, they also like paired him back up with Bruce, and the writing with that was terrible, because the first issue of that book was like Bruce Wayne takes Damian to go see his parents at the grave, and Damian's like, the first thing Damian goes is like, "Why am I here?" And he's like, "Because you're my son, and I want you to meet your grandparents." And he's like, "Good riddance, like, dude, get over it. Like, your parents have been dead for like I don't know how long." And he's like looking down at his kid, and he's like, "Don't talk to me like that. I'm your dad." Like, and he's like, "Dude, like, get over it. Your parents died in an alley. You're Batman, blah, blah, blah," because he's been trained by like the League of Shadows, his grandfather. And so the writing for that book was just like out of nowhere. Like, it's either you really liked it or you didn't like it. And then Damian was just, he was a brat in that book. You didn't really like him as a Robin, but he was very charming and when he was in the Batman and Robin with Dick Grayson being Batman, because he would keep telling Dick Grayson, like, your voice, work on your voice, or he'd be like, "Hey, you should probably pre-plan before you come in here and try to take down 15 thugs by yourself, because you have a cape on now. It slows you down. And it like their chemistry was very well written. by Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
When you had the New 52, it was almost like they were just experimenting with everybody. That's why all those comics fail so fast. Like, anyways, I mean, you're right. I mean, it's. I feel like that's what they're doing with this. Is they're like, remember the New 52? This is what the New 52 should have been. So,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, I mean, and I've enjoyed Absolute Batman
Mhm.
more than most other mainstream comic books that have come out recently. I thought it's fantastically written. It's a fresh new take. It's an interesting take, And then one thing I wanted to point out also that you had shown earlier was the Absolute Batman Annual #1.
Oh yeah.
Controversial story. I mean, I think sometimes people are so, people can be itching so badly to jump on something right off the bat without taking the time to read and process what the issue is. And I read through it. I read the story. I thought it was an excellent way to handle it, the story. Obviously the headlines was about the arm snapping and his violent takedown of this group, but then I love the message behind it that if you succumb to the methods of those that you're fighting against, you run the risk of becoming them. And seeing that final panel of Batman, I don't want to spoil it, but just seeing that final panel of Batman realizing the danger that he was in of becoming the thing he was fighting against, I thought it was fantastic. And then the introduction of the Batmobile was so understated and kind of almost not even there. That I just thought it was really well done, and I think it's just I think that's another reason why this series is doing so well is because the quality of storytelling. I know people have said some things about it being a money grab on DC's part, and I mean, of course they're loving it. They're loving that there's like 2,000 different covers, but it's an incredibly well done story, and I think it's worth reading. So even if on the Carlson Friends show, we've covered all the different Absolute Batmans that are out. I've said, I think $20, $25 if you want to pick it up, but absolutely don't go spend $150 on a raw copy. I think it's trending at like $180 for a raw copy, and like
now it is. It's about $180 for a near mint. I mean, I don't know how you would.
Crazy. It's crazy. $500 for a CGC 9.8.
And I think you had mentioned how they're taking. Okay, so what a lot of them are doing, what Carlos was talking about, is like, say if I have a blank cover or I have a variant cover, and say the variant cover wasn't very appealing to the masses, and that people are going out of their way to buy that cover, like a cover G or a cover H. They'll get that variant cover in the through the mail, and then they'll rip that cover off. Of course not gently, so it doesn't look like it's been messed with. And then they'll go back on like eBay, or they'll go back on like one of these online auction sites, and they'll sell it as like a cover A.
Right.
And they'll try to like bank, and that it kind of is hurting the market now, because more people have kind of like picked up on it, and now people are kind of like, well, I don't know if it's really a first print.
Right.
It usually has like a barcode, but the barcode's not on the actual. I would say that would be like on the actual variant, but it may not be on like the first, cover A.
Yeah.
And then also you can tell from the staples because of how thick the cardboard is.
There's a few different there's a few different issues with what's going on. It's throwing off the print counts because this is being done at scale. Like there's people with stacks of the variant covers, and they're doing this by the stack. They're not doing this like one at a time. They're doing this dozens and dozens at a time, and that's flooding the market with more copies of the first print cover A. I think it's also it reveals a cost saving measure that the publishers were doing for these variants instead of they were just slapping a new cover on top of it, just like they would with these, with those convention exclusives. The way they would do those, they were slapping a new cover on it because it was cheaper for them to do than to do print runs with just the variant cover cardstock, variant cardstock cover version on it. So I think it's revealing that they really can't be doing that anymore after this, and I think it's it's showing that there's always going to be people in the hobby community that are going to be doing stuff like this, which it's dishonest. It's dishonest. It's bottom line. It's dishonest. It's forgery. It's forging these copies based on these being cheap with it. And so I think it's not a good practice, but it's such a small part of the overall puzzle. Which the bottom line with it all is that Absolute Batman is killing it, and I think people are responding to the title, and I'm hoping that
just the Absolute universe itself is good.
Yeah. I love that they had done it a few minutes ago. Jen's waiting for the introduction of Absolute Blue Superman.
Electric You remember when you say Superman Blue, people are thinking, wait, Superman Blue. I'm like, because there is a Superman Blue, there's a Superman Red.
All right, remember, if you haven't already, make sure and do hashtag Absolute Joker for your chance to win. Also, keep in mind that, hey, if you want to win a free 1-year subscription to CLZ Comics, go check out this video that I did from Monday. I did it as a live stream. It's about 40 minutes. You can go watch it if you don't mind, but also enter to win in the comments. There's only a couple people that have done it. It's a free 1-year subscription. It'll take a couple minutes of your time. But go over there, enter to win, because I want to see a whole bunch of entries there before I do the giveaway on December the 19th. So cool stuff there. I think, can I have one of the moderators drop a comment or drop a new comment? Because I don't think the link is going live because of StreamYard. But if one of the moderators can go ahead and drop it in there. Let's see, I don't think the deal will go through. They would own too much of the pie for distribution, especially. Okay, he's talking about the Warner Brothers and the whole Netflix and Warner Brothers, which we're going to get to in just a minute. Before we do, though, Jen, I'm going to take a quick moment and do the retro reader review for tonight, because we haven't done that yet. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it back over here and say, hey, what's up? It's Carl's Collects Comics, and I am bringing to you another retro reader review. This is the time where I'm going to pull a book off of my bookshelf, a graphic novel that's a collected edition of previous comics that were printed a long time ago. And the one that I wanted to showcase tonight, one of my all-time favorite Marvel comic books that came out. So this came out back when collected editions were only $14.99, number one. All right, but this came out in 2010, and so it's 15 years old this year. This is the New Avengers. All right, New Avengers spawned out of the Avengers Disassembled big comic event, in which the existing Avengers team was defeated, destroyed, dismantled, and ultimately the world was left without the Avengers, the greatest superheroes on the planet. But Tony Stark started reflecting on it, and he got together with Captain America, and he said the world needs the Avengers. This title was written by Brian Michael Bendis, with astounding artwork by David Finch. All right, and it brought together a brand new team of Avengers that many of whom we've never seen before in an Avengers roster. Two of those folks were Luke Cage from Heroes for Hire, and then Spider-Man, who I think up until that point had never been an Avenger. I mean, he might have been back in like Silver Age, but he had never been in there. So the cool thing about New Avengers was that it was a fresh new team that was brought together by fate in this initial run when the superhero or the super villain prison, there was a prison break, and 54 of the worst super villain offenders got out. They broke out, and then a new team had to be formed in order to go out and catch him. Here's a quick spread from it. This is the Sentry, who becomes a member of the team. There's Captain America and Tony Stark discussing it. I loved this iteration on it because not only did Captain America and Tony Stark put together a new team, but they actually got turned down. They got turned down by Daredevil, who was there. He said he could not be a part of the team because he had his own issues going, his own title, but they recruited Luke Cage. They also recruited Jessica Drew, the original Spider-Woman.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way Finch drew her in this.
Oh, yeah, man.
And yeah, I mean, look at that. Just absolutely stunning artwork. And fantastic storyline. So Breakout was the first 6 issues of New Avengers, and not only did they get the folks that you would most expect to see, like Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, but they also brought together somebody that you never would have thought you would see on an Avengers team. I'm trying to find a good spread featuring this character. I'm going to show it to you in just a second here. Almost, there he is, racing in with Captain America, Wolverine. And the thing is, you would have thought, okay, well, Wolverine, they only got Wolverine in there because he sells comic books. He's already in multiple comic books. But the neat thing was that they actually had a really strong story reason for why to include him in the team. So New Avengers, Volume 1, Breakout. This is the first major storyline. It collects issues number 1 through 16. Fantastic story, and heavily recommended for those who are looking to read some cool comics.
I agree. That book was so good that because of Michael Bendis, because of him, Mr. Bendis, the book was so good that it spun out other titles right after that. So you got the Mighty Avengers like right after that, which was like a team led by Sentry and a few other people. Like you had the Avengers, you had the New Avengers, you had the Mighty Avengers. It was like 3 books that were like running, but New Avengers was the best because that was like the main title or like the main Avengers book.
Right. Yeah.
And the reason it was the main one was because it had happened. It was basically like them testing waters with like changing certain characters. So you had like Ronin, and then you also had Echo. Like joined. I think like Echo joined like issue 11 or something.
Right. Yep.
And Ronin, right, which is Hawkeye that we see now, becomes Ronin. But this Ronin wasn't Hawkeye. It was like Ronin, like the Ronin. Echo was Ronin or whatever.
Well, the neat thing in the storyline that we learn in the storyline later on is that Ronin is actually kind of an identity that different heroes have taken up over time. At one point, Daredevil, Matt Murdock, had taken up the Ronin deal. Hawkeye did it, just like he did in the movies, and then Echo was the latest, at this point, the latest to do it. But then even after that, somebody else took on the identity. So really cool stuff. I mean, it was such a fun read. And so I recommend it to folks. Go check it out. I think you can find most of the back issues fairly inexpensively right now, so you can build a run. But the new Avengers, the trade paperback, you can get it at half price books for like $4, $5. It's very easy to come by. So hey, let's get to the main story of the night, and then hey, guess what? We're also going to do our giveaway for the night because we're giving away a copy, first print cover A of Absolute Batman number 15, the first appearance of Absolute Joker. We're going to be giving that away in just a moment as well. I'll bring that up in just a second, but we'll. All right, we're going to go ahead and bring that. We're going to bring that back in just a second, and we're going to do it. But let's go and get to the headline. Let's see. What's the next title? The new Avengers. That's a very nice buttocks.
Actually, it was called the Young Avengers. Remember, Green?
Yeah, Young Avengers was one of them. Was one of the titles. Mighty Avengers. Yeah, but New Avengers. This was the one that kind of restarted the franchise because they basically disbanded the Avengers, let it sit for a little bit, and then they launched New Avengers, which it was like a time jump or something.
Yeah, the New Avengers. So you're right, 100% right. Because the New Avengers was pre-Civil War. They were anti-Registration Act.
Yes.
And Mighty Avengers were
after
pro-Registration Act. They were led by Iron Man. I think they were led by Iron Man and Black Widow and
that's right. Remember
Janet Wasp.
Another cool title that ran kind of during that time, the Avengers Initiative, where there was like an Avengers team for every state, which I thought was really interesting. Because when you think about the Marvel comic universe, they have so many characters. And a lot of these characters, unless a writer decides they want to revive an old character, a lot of these characters just sit around. And
the Avengers Initiative was the answer Marvel had to Gotham Incorporated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they were doing. Remember, I always tell you guys, like, if DC does this, Marvel's gonna go.
Like what?
I'm gonna do this. See which one's gonna sell more.
It's wild how they do this. How they do even after all these years and all these different.
Hey, Sony told Nintendo when their sales were down a few years ago. I mean, this is when their Switch was just being experimented, and they didn't have a lot of games. And Sony made a huge statement. They said, "Hey, Nintendo needs to step their game up because without Nintendo, there is no Sony." Like, I think you can go look it up. I think Sony called out Nintendo and said, "We need you to do better because your competition makes us better." So I mean, it's just a lot of respect that was shown for Nintendo. Well, it's the same with Marvel and DC. No matter if you're a fanboy for Marvel or DC, they sort of need each other to do better because they kind of feed off of each other. So
no, I mean that's totally true. That's totally true. They thrive off of the competition, and it keeps people engaged because fans are rooting for kind of their team and so on and so forth. All right, so big story of the night that we're going to talk about. So we found out it was a month or so ago that Warner Brothers Discovery had decided that they wanted to be sold. They wanted to be purchased, acquired by a larger company. Now, keep in mind that Warner Brothers Discovery has been one of the quietest, biggest success stories of the past 5 to 8 years because Warner Brothers had been purchased by AT&T, I think it was like 8-ish years ago or so, maybe less. And AT&T didn't do a very good job with it. Kind of ran the company into the ground. Stock shares dropped by more than 50%. The company was in tatters when Discovery stepped in and purchased it from AT&T, and it was combined to become Warner Brothers Discovery. At that point, David Zaslav, the current CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, took over and began making decisions. One of the biggest, most controversial decisions that he made in comics fandom was that he took the already finished Batgirl movie and he shelved it. He chose to destroy it and to get rid of it and to shelve it and take the tax write-off rather than allow it to be released and possibly damage the DC Comics brand, which he felt had already been, hurt through years of mismanagement. Not necessarily, we don't pin the blame on somebody like Zack Snyder for it. Instead, we look at it and say the shifting changes in management at Warner Brothers caused a lot of confusion, a lot of changes before movies had even come out. A new path was being forged. So lots going on that hurt Warner Brothers, and the revolving door of senior C-suite leadership didn't help that. And so it left it in a place where it was almost about to fade from existence. The studio would have shut down, but David Zaslav came in, and he made a lot of people in Hollywood upset. But that happens. That's going to happen when somebody comes in with a business mind and says, "This is what we need to do to right the ship." And they stopped spending money on projects that they knew weren't going to be successful. Stopped with trying to message in every project, and instead started to forge a new path. And what we've seen happen is Warner Brothers now is thriving to the point where they are now an attractive purchase. And what has happened is that a bidding war started. Netflix seemed to have won the bid a week ago by submitting an $82.7 billion offer to the board of directors to purchase after Larry Ellison and Paramount had submitted their best and final offer, which was less. Netflix won that bidding war, and things began to proceed into serious negotiations, which could take as long as a year to do. However, in a startling move, but not that startling when you know all the players that are involved. In a startling move, Paramount and David Ellison, has stepped in and said that they are going to initiate a hostile takeover, and they are offering shares, or they're going directly to shareholders and attempting to buy out 51% of the stock of Warner Brothers Discovery at $30 a share, which trumps the $27.50 per share price that Netflix was offering. Now, obviously, because negotiations had begun in earnest between Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery, this is going to be a huge wrinkle. This could potentially throw a lot of things into chaos as Paramount attempts to go directly to the shareholders with this offer. And we're going to see how this plays out, because this is extremely high stakes corporate maneuvering. This is the type of thing that happens in the heavy corporate world. For it to be happening with a studio as large as Warner Brothers, combined with Discovery, which is all the TV networks as well, it's pretty. We haven't seen this in modern days and forever. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's way bigger a deal than just who's going to have control of DC studios.
Oh my God.
That's a small thing compared to the overall, like what this can do to the entertainment landscape is a big deal. So we're gonna open it up and have you, Jen. I just want to hear what you think. Okay, we got the chat. A lot of people dropping in their things. Remember, as Jen, we're going to get into it a little bit. Then we're going to go ahead and do our giveaway for the night, and then we're going to come back into the discussion, because I want to hear chat. What do you think about this? Do you even care if it's something you're watching? But it's something that you should know about and understand.
You guys,
especially if you happen to do any kind of trading of stocks. Keep in mind, this is the thing that's out there now, even in the consumer trading place. All right, Jen. So let's bring it up, man, and let's get into it.
Okay, so I'm gonna be pretty direct about this, man. I like that Netflix is buying out Warner Brothers. Well, who I don't want buying out Warner Brothers is actually Paramount, because I'm not a fan of Larry Ellison, and I'm not a fan of David Ellison either. Now, if you know anything about those guys, I mean, this could, like I said, this could turn into something controversial. So I'm going to try to stay away from that. But you need to do a lot of research on who Larry Ellison is, and his son David Ellison, who is a CEO and chairman of Paramount. Now, here's the thing: if Paramount ends up buying Warner Brothers Discovery, you're going to have a monopoly. And I'm like, people are like, well, what if Netflix, buys this? I'm like, yeah, but Netflix doesn't care about data storaging, managing data, analyzing data, digi-IDs. I want you to really think about that. Like the only person really pushing digi-IDs right now is Larry Ellis and David Ellis' son. They're trying to create all these media outlets, and so think about this stuff that they're trying to do now. And the government should not get involved and say, oh yeah, you know what exactly will you own? The government shouldn't. I understand the monopoly, right? But whenever you have a certain person that says, well, how will this benefit me? I'm the one running this country. How will this benefit me? Then you're controlling the media outlets. Then what happens to the independent media outlets? So you need to start thinking about these things. You think it doesn't affect you yet, but it does. It affects everyone. Netflix doesn't care about that. Netflix just wants IP. They just want intellectual property. They don't care about these news outlets. That's why CNN is not part of their deal. I think they don't want CNN.
That's the deal. Is that, remember? I'm glad you brought that up, because I want to make sure people know the deal that from Netflix. The reason why Netflix is only offering $82.7 billion, but just for the
part of their own share too.
Well, they're spinning off the Discovery Network, which is all the TV channels and networks. Mm-hmm. They're separating the two to become two companies.
Correct.
Paramount, though, is offering, I think it's approximately $108 billion for everything.
Oh yes, which is, like I said,
buying all of it.
That's why.
That's what you pointed out. Netflix doesn't want the TV side of it, like the streaming or the network side of it. They want HBO and HBO Max, mm-hmm. and they want Warner Brothers primarily because of the content library that
but
Warner
the
Brothers,
thing is,
all the films that Warner Brothers produce, Netflix will all of a sudden own all of those.
So I'm reading right now that Warner Brothers has accepted Netflix's deal, even after the Paramount.
They did, but
Paramount.
But for those who aren't familiar, remember, a hostile takeover means that even though another deal was accepted, Paramount is now offering direct to shareholders. They would have to acquire 51% of the majority. That would become a majority stake in. They don't have to buy the whole thing, but and remember, like the big players that own large chunks of Warner Brothers Discovery stock are still only going to have somewhere around 7, 8, 9%. There's a lot of stock out there, that Paramount is going after to say, hey, we will buy your shares at a way above market price. Because remember, that both valuations are higher than what it's currently trading at. All right, it's currently trading, I think, down in the low 20s now. After all this activity, the one stock that's dropped in all this, Paramount stock went up and Warner Brothers Discovery stock went up. But actually, the one stock that dropped in all this was the Netflix stock. So which is another interesting byproduct. Their position, their market position, has actually been weakened by this deal not kind of happening, or I mean not smoothly as it could, because by Paramount getting a because remember it's called a hostile takeover because they are doing it without the go ahead of the board of Warner Brothers Discovery. That means they are going to bypass the board and go directly to shareholders with their offer and start buying stock. So they're
using Paramount's name to buy the stock, but it's the Ellison family that's doing it because they're building a empire, like a media empire, and because they've already bought out, like I said, they've already taken over TikTok, right? The person that's technically right now is over TikTok U.S. operations is Ellison, and the CNN deal for this, like I said, if Netflix says, "Oh, well, we don't want this," then Larry just comes in and it says, "Well, I'm going to take over CNN. I'll just have that." And like I said, if you have one person doing this, it's going to be like the way it was back in the 70s. You had ABC, Fox, and like CBS or something. You had three media outlets that you would go and get your sources for news. And if you have one person controlling everything, that is monopolized, and that is media content that can be genuinely controlled by one person, and you won't know what's real or what's not real, because now AI has taken over. Like their next thing is to create AI actors, AI models. Like I said, every data is very important, right? Especially in today's world. Anything that you watch, anything that you do, your algorithm, just everything is stored now, just to see what your behavior is like. And this guy is doing it because he created Oracle. He was in 1977. Larry Ellison created Oracle, and he created the biggest cloud storage for the United States government. Like I said, this isn't a conspiracy theory or anything like that. Go look it up yourself, and you'll know that this is something that's this is something that can either be really great if Netflix takes over, like I said, or it can turn into something like a red flag, and it's like, oh shit.
That's where I'm going to go next, because here's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
And as many pitfalls as there are if Paramount buys it, there are also pitfalls to be aware of if Netflix does get the deal to go through, which there's a good possibility of that being the case, just because of the way these deals tend to happen. However, I don't know. It's very interesting times. Here's what I want to do. I want to go ahead and we're going to read. Remember, you should be entering #AbsoluteJoker for your chance to win. I'm going to do some quick chat shout outs, because we got a lot of activity in the chat, people dropping in saying what they think about all this. And then we're going to do the giveaway right after this, and then Jen and I are going to get back into the discussion on this. All right.
I'm sorry, I'm reading some of the comments. Like this.
Yeah, some good ones. Let's get to the good ones. Let's get to the chat. WB. Okay, I don't care if he gets upset, if he gets people upset. Screw them. DC is on the right track now. Thank you for catching up on the like button. Make sure and hit that like button if you like the discussion. If you like the show tonight, hit the like button. Let us know that. It is always awesome to be appreciated, to know that what we're doing is bringing value to you, the viewer. Brian Harmon Jr. says, they just barely beat out my offer of $3.50 to buy WB. Oh, man, I wish I could buy stock at that price. Alicia says, God bless. Thank you for watching, Alicia. Thank you for being here. Trump's going to buy CNN after being president. He might. I don't know. He can do all kinds of things. All this talk makes me want to go play a game of Monopoly. Yeah, I know. It does sound like that. Keeping it separate is an excellent idea for Netflix. I think Netflix will be great for DC animation, which is one of my reasons I hope Netflix wins. All right, we got people taking sides. Can't you do both? I'm the same with Netflix buyout Paramount, but I hope that they don't mess with the Warner Brothers idea. All right, HBO is a great property. Hey, that's true. HBO is massive. It's a massive property. Because remember, HBO controls Game of Thrones, the biggest fantasy property that is out there now. It's overtaken uh, Lord of the Rings in popularity by far. Um, I just wish these huge mergers weren't a thing. I'd rather they break it up and sell it off. Creating even bigger and bigger mega corporations doesn't help anyone but the billionaire owners. That's why they keep doing the purchases. All right,
Yep.
making a Batman
Looking like
movie,
a capitalist, man. That's good.
making a Batman movie every other year will pay for itself. They're keeping HBO. Netflix is. There's a breakup clause of $5.8 billion. Hey, I'll say this: breakup clauses are a formality. That kind of money, it's chump change. All right, in a deal like this, it's chump change. It really doesn't matter. So none of them are sweating the breakup clauses. All right, I still think it's not going through, but money talks and squat walks. All right, like what happened with Twitter. Paramount happened to Twitter. That's all right. Ride them coattails. All right, it's not funny, Al Green. It's a very serious matter. Gene Simmons was talking about the AI and music earlier today. Yeah. Oracle, more like Oracle. Am I right?
That's why I was laughing.
California.
Oracle.
All right, WB needs the money. I don't know if Paramount has the cash flow. There's a lot of money flowing there. Like you said, look it up. There's a lot of money back there. All right, AI actors are the future. Let's hope not. All right, they will own the actors and feet. I don't know if that might be another story. Jen, have you heard about that AI actress?
Yes. Oh, dude, that needs to be our next topic. Oh my god.
It's a big deal. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. They own her. They own her.
The agents are in so much trouble that tried to go after her and sign her. They had a ton of clients threatening to leave them over that. That's a whole other.
Yeah, that is a whole other thing.
All right. They will own the actors and feed you the content they think you deserve. Shrug. That's why you should be anti-AI. Dune Saga over. That's right. Dune is another property that they currently own. AI is a dangerous thing right now if it's used wrong. I am the future Batman. Don't like AI actors. Keep AI out of art completely. All right, so lots of stuff, lots of different subjects. Hey, we're going to go ahead and do our first giveaway, or our big giveaway for the night. Remember, we are giving away a copy of Absolute Batman number 15, the first appearance of Absolute Joker. They've been building to this since issue 1. All right, 15 issues later, almost a year and a half, and we're finally going to get our first full appearance of the Absolute Joker. So let's go ahead and give this book away. Check this out, folks. Yes, like Real James will be saying, smash that like button and share. Yeah, hey, let people know that we're doing this. Good luck to everybody. Going to be giving this away. This is my one single copy of Absolute Batman number 15. But I'm giving it away into the community. I want somebody to get a cool book. And here we go. All right. Good luck to everybody. Going to do a giveaway in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. All right. Let's check it out. Uh-oh. And David Dodson. David Dodson is going to win it. Congratulations, David Dodson. You are getting a copy of Absolute Batman number 15, the hot book of the week. I just sent your package out. Oh well, okay. It was full. It was too full. I mean, you have so many books, David Dodson. You had so many books. I had to send it out priority. All right. So thanks, folks, for watching tonight. But hey, stick with us because we still got some interesting discussion to continue. We're gonna wrap out the Netflix Warner Brothers Paramount struggle that is going on right now. And then we're going to give you a couple of reminders of shows that are coming up and some announcements about the channel. All right, so Jim, big thing to kind of to refocus in on. I want to flip the script, and I want to look at what is the downside if Netflix wins the bidding war and does get through the purchase, making the purchase of Warner Brothers. Remember, just the movie studio, HBO, and HBO Max. Here's the big one. This is why Christopher Nolan, who is the president of the Directors Guild of America and the biggest name director that we have, he's passed up Steven Spielberg, he's passed up Ron Howard, Robert Zemeckis, he's surpassed all of them. He is currently the lead director right now. He, as a result of the news breaking that Netflix had won the bidding war to take Warner Brothers, Christopher Nolan reached out to Netflix and says, we need an emergency meeting right now. Now, why in the world would the biggest name director on the planet feel like an emergency meeting was necessary with Netflix?
I have an idea why. Because remember, Warner Brothers.
Before you jump into it, let me tell you the reason why. Okay, because here's the deal. Now, keep in mind, Chris Nolan has a deal with Warner Brothers in place, and they
a 3-movie deal.
Yeah.
I think you already know what I'm about to say. I think you're about to say what I was about to say. You're about to say what I was about to say. Go ahead. Tell them.
Well, no, it's Christopher Nolan realizes that remember, all you have to do is look at Netflix's track record when it comes to their movies, right? Mm-hmm. They don't believe in big budget films, and Christopher Nolan is the biggest budget director that's there. He also realizes that theatrical releases, and this is really at the crux of it. If Netflix buys Warner Brothers, they're going to take one of the biggest film studios and decrease the output of big theatrical release films
through them.
Yeah. It's gonna cut down competition. Which leads us back to the whole anti-competition.
Yeah,
you jump in and say what you were going to say.
Okay, so Christopher Nolan right now is set to make The Odyssey, which is like one of the best stories that you could probably give to that director. I mean, you'll have Troy, right? Like he wants to do Troy.
He's wrapping production on The Odyssey, but he does have other ones in the mix.
No, he's directing the Odyssey.
No, they've wrapped. They've already.
No. What I'm saying is that if this deal goes through, I think he's more worried about if they decide to say, "Oh, I know you wanted to do a 3-movie Odyssey." Because it's supposed to be part 1, part 2, part 3.
Yeah.
And then Netflix comes around and says, we want Zack Snyder back. And it's like get out of here, right? It's like get out of here. Like, no, seriously, like, look,
Zack Snyder's Odyssey.
I don't want to see Zack Snyder's Odyssey. I don't think anybody wants to see Zack Snyder's Odyssey. I do, however, want to see James Gunn finish his DC universe.
I know people are making a big deal of it, but here's the deal with that. I think James Gunn is safe.
He's safe.
I think he and Peter Safran are going to get to go through at least the end of 2027, and he's moving so fast right now. Like, just think about it. We're about to get the first trailer of Supergirl tomorrow. They've already wrapped filming. He's already written the script for the second Superman movie, which brings together Superman, Supergirl, and Krypto. So it's like a Superman family movie, but it's a sequel. So he's not slowing down. He's
get Gordon's last comment right here on the.
Yeah.
So
Odyssey.
100%. So
real quick, the deal with Odyssey. Okay, look. Keep in mind, Christopher Nolan is the truest of true cinephiles. Okay, he believes in movies being displayed in the theater. He believes in shooting in a theatrical only format. He and James Cameron had the same vision of creating films that people can only fully experience in a theater. They believe to their core that movies should be displayed in a theater, not just because of the money, but trust me, the money's a big part of it. They know that their big deals, their big paychecks will go away if these movies are not displayed theatrically for at least a period of time.
No, they're also like always messing with new technology. Like James Cameron's always messing around with like the next step, and he's not very anti-AI himself, but he'll use some, new technology that may borderline it. Same thing with Nolan. He loves he was one of the first ones to use new cameras for the IMAX.
Yeah, and
IMAX
that's
experience.
The thing about the IMAX camera. IMAX is a horrendous format to have to manage on set to film.
Correct. Yeah.
The cameras are massive. The film rolls are huge. It is a very cumbersome thing to shoot with, and most directors aren't even allowed to talk about filming on IMAX because of the cost of it. Because think about it, a small camera is about this big. Like a regular cinema camera is about this big, and then you put all the gaff on it, and the lens and everything. But the camera body is this big. An IMAX camera body, just the camera body, is huge. It's a massive thing. So everything has to get bigger. The dolly, the Russian arm on top of the arm that's on top of the car when you're filming driving scenes, or when you're filming these chase scenes.
Oh no, I've seen Christopher Nolan's his what is it called, the making of like his Dark Knight trilogy, and even that's why if you ever hear what Christian Bale says about the suit, he says he's wearing the suit for long periods of time because they're on set long periods of time because they're reshooting a lot of these IMAX scenes. So it's I'm not worried about Christopher Nolan or James Gunn. What I'm more worried about is that I'm more worried about Netflix interfering with I'm more worried about them interfering like the way AT&T was interfering with with Zack Snyder and kind of messing up his ideas and stuff like that. Now the thing is that Netflix did say that they want to create a multiverse of like heroes, and so I was like, wait, that's not a bad idea. I mean, they said that the only reason they wanted Zack Snyder back was because they want him to finish his trilogy, but not in a live action universe. They want to do like animation, and they asked him, would you be down? He said yeah. So if they do an animation Zack Snyder universe and he ends up doing well, who knows? I mean, who knows?
I think listen, I loved a lot of things about Man of Steel. I loved Zack Snyder's 300, and I really liked Watchmen. I think though
that's it. That's you can stop right there. Everything else is like
that's that. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm over the Snyderverse, and I know that the Snyderverse bros. You can at me all you want. I don't care. I think Zack Snyder just needs to be done with DC. I think he just needs to be done with it. I mean, if they want to give him a gritty, like the question HBO Max series to do, that would be excellent. That'd be amazing, right?
Well, I think Ben Affleck Batman series where he's old. Make him the absolute Batman. He'd be perfect.
I would watch that, but I mean, I would almost honestly, I would rather see a Ben Affleck directed
absolute Batman.
No.
Right? I mean, Ben Affleck would be a perfect absolute Batman.
He's too old, though.
I mean, even if he is too old, I mean,
no, I would love to see a Ben Affleck directed and written Batman series. As much as I loved him, and I
That was
He was
taken
an
away from him.
excellent Batman. Okay, he was an excellent Batman. He was great. He wasn't as good as Kevin Conroy. He wasn't Michael Keaton. He was his.
I don't
He
know.
was.
Michael Keaton shouldn't have never came back for that last movie. Michael Keaton himself. You know what
Stop.
I'm saying? Like, he should have never came back for the Flash. He died in that movie. I mean, his
That
Batman crashed in the desert. He died.
It was, that movie. Okay, I'm going to say this: Sasha Calle was amazing as Supergirl. She was a fantastic Supergirl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but she was more of like the Superwoman Supergirl version. So, but well, I'm not going to. Let's not get into all that. All right, so going back to the Warner Brothers, Discovery acquisition. Things that you need to keep, things that you need as viewers. I'm going to close it up with. Or do you have final thoughts on it, Jen? Like very brief.
No, I mean I've had a great time, man. I wasn't sure who was going to be on and when I was going to get the link. I even closed my eyes for a little bit, and A Wolf came over and she's like, "Hey, are you going to get on tonight?" And I'm like, I looked, I'm like, "Oh crap, it's 9:10." So I rushed over to you guys. So. No, it's been fun, guys. I jump on every 2 weeks. I think the next one that I'll be on with you guys will be for Christmas. I'm not sure if that's the last show.
So right now next week is scheduled to be the last show. We might do one the following Wednesday, because that's going to put us. I think it's going to put us at Christmas Eve. I don't know. We might do one.
Do a Christmas Eve one. I'll be at home. By the way, I'll be cutting my hair, guys.
Yes. 2 weeks from now is Christmas Eve.
She's like, no, I'm definitely gonna go from no shave November or my hair and everything to hopefully Christmas, Jen. So we'll go from there. So I'm definitely.
We'll see how it looks. If it is a Christmas Eve episode, it'll be a quick Christmas Eve live stream. It won't be an episode of the giveaway show. This will be next week will be the last of this season of the giveaway show. We'll do a special Christmas toast or something.
We just have like a hangout, like just all hang out with each other.
Yeah. That would be
Christmas hangout. Carlos says Christmas hangout.
Shave too. You look more handsome that way. All right. So
I look like someone else.
Thanks to Jen for being here and for jumping in, so it's not just me talking in an echo chamber. I always love having Jen. He's always got a strong, well-researched opinion about what's going on. Here's a couple of final thoughts for you about this potential merger that's coming up. Because remember, there's a lot more going on sometimes than what we realize with situations like this. A couple of things that I would say to think about and to act on as we approach this time when a merger might happen. Remember, number one, it's not going to change anything about your daily life. So regardless of what you hear, it's like about this company buying this company or that, you are still going to have to pay rent and buy groceries and do all that stuff. So don't let it take too much of your mind time, especially here at the holidays. Number two, the second thing I would remind you of is that physical media is more important now than it ever has been before. I would encourage you this Christmas season, look around for a DVD player or a Blu-ray player to add to your home setup. Look around for DVDs and Blu-ray discs that you can purchase and pick up. In the world of streaming, we're kind of on this. We've started to go down this path of companies thinking that they can change existing films without talking to the filmmakers first, and that's a dangerous place to be in because it can silence and stifle important voices from our past and especially from our present and our history. And our future. All right. Third thing I want to do is I want to encourage you, go see a movie in the theaters. It's a fast eroding piece of our cultural landscape that we need to keep. We need to go and view movies. And I'm not talking about going and seeing a movie where the teenagers in the back of the theater are throwing popcorn and laughing and talking and on TikTok. I'm talking about going and experiencing a movie that you enjoy with other filmgoers who love the same movie and and making it a social event. So get out, go watch a movie, go enjoy that time with others, and go sit back in that chair and enjoy watching a fun movie this holiday season. Okay.
Predator Badlands.
Predator Badlands. Yeah.
Oh my God, so good.
One thing I'll make sure and point out is that, remember, in 2027 we are going to get a re-release of the original Star Wars: A New Hope theatrical edition. That's right. They're going to be re-releasing in theaters the original theatrical edition, remastered, of course. But they're going to they're going to have all the special effects from the special editions taken out. Han is going to go back to shooting first. They're going to get rid of the weird squelching Jabba that he walks over and that awkward special edition piece. All the special edition stuff is going away, and they're going to release the original 1977 theatrical edition of Star Wars. Remember, that's coming up. It's a year and a half away, but guess what? I am already planning to take my whole family to go see it. We're going to go buy tickets the opening weekend of it, no matter how long it stays in, because we've got to send a message to these big studios and say, this is the kind of entertainment we want to see. All right, stop trying to force feed us stuff that we don't want to see. Give us the stuff that we want to see. Tells a good story with compelling characters, and let the rest wash out in the mix. All right, thanks so much for being here for tonight's episode of the Giveaway Show. It has been awesome to have you here with us. I'm Cross Collects Comics. I'm your host. I'm encouraging you to join us for the Expensive Paper Showcase coming up this Friday night at 9 p.m. Central. It'll be at 9 p.m. Central, not 8, but 9 p.m. Central is when it's going to be. I want you to make sure and join it with us. And also, make sure that you check out Top 10 X-Men Comics Volume 1 that's going to be dropping after the first of the year. Thanks so much to everybody for being here tonight. From myself and Jen and the rest of the crew, hope you join us for the last couple live streams of the year. But you take care, read those comics, and we will see you next time here on the Cross Collects Comics channel. Take care.